On today's head-to-head, we've got a Mackie Thump 15 BTS versus the JBL EON615. So why did I decide to choose these two speakers as my head-to-head today? It's the app. So this is all about the app. We're going to listen to the speakers and we're going to know they both sound awesome. But the app is really going to change what you think of both speakers. New speaker, new app. Older speaker, older app. And they both have great customers that are going to buy into both of them. And you might be a JBL customer. You might be the one buying the Mackie. All right, so here we are. We're all set up. We've got everything ready for the actual sound demo. So you did hear the initial sound demo, which was the engine rev in. Now, if you haven't seen the video before, we've got lights set up on the speakers. This one be the Mackie. This one be the JBL. So when they're both on, you listen to both. When you only have one light on, that would be the Mackie. And this would be the JBL. In front of the actual camera, we've got a Marantz Professional MPM 3000 condenser microphone set up. You can see it just off to the camera there. That is set up 16 to 18 feet away from the speakers. We're running the speakers at 75% flat today. So this way we're not going to, give one more than the other. I have taken the time to adjust to make sure that I've gotten it just about as equal and balanced as we can. And that means that we've got on the JBL, the line and level both set at 75%. On the Mackie, we've got line 1 set at plus 3 dB. And then we've got the gain set to 3/4, which is 7.5. Giving an even fair test, we've got no extra bass or treble setup. The JBL set up as a main. That's it. That's all. And the Mackie set at flat. So we're going to give it a good spin. We've got about a dozen tracks to go through, and we'll see what you think at the end of it. If you're into all the tech, the really nice, cool stuff, but ease of use, you're really looking for an easy to use interface and you want a ton of features and smart features, that's where the Mackie comes into play. At the same time, why then should we get the JBL? If you're the person that's actually making the purchase decision, making the buying decision, but then you have to share that speaker with a hall or with a school or with anybody when you're not the person going to be handling it. I've said this before about these JBL speakers. This is a great speaker when you're not going to be the one turning the knobs on it. It's very hard to break. It's very hard to blow up. It makes it very easy for other people to use it. So that's where the big advantages still come into play on this one. And the best thing all is they keep dropping the price. The overall design of the speaker, really, really nice on the Mackie. So Mackie handles recessed in the actual unit. They do put a lot of structural design into it. This is how all the companies are starting to do their reinforcement. How do we get a lighter box with a stronger cabinet to hold the driver in place? Well, this is how you do it. You bring this in the design. It's like a truss system. It reinforces it by using sharp angles, and then your handles flush mount. It can still be set up as a monitor. It can still be stood up. It can be easily pole mounted because it doesn't weigh a ton. I think these guys are roughly in the 40-pound range, so that makes it really, really easy. Now, the big thing here is definitely you're buying this on top of the regular Thump 15A is because you want the technology. You want the Bluetooth capability. When they say Bluetooth here, they mean it all. Where here, it's basically Bluetooth is really meant for the app and interfacing with the actual speaker. Here, it's for connectivity with your music and the app itself all at the same time. That's what's going on here. So that's where the new product is looking at when you look at the 15 BTS. Now, the app is also a lot smoother and easier, I would honestly say, on this guy here. So if I'm going to give it my opinion, yes. I do like using the Mackie app better than the actual JBL app. Now, it's nothing to take away. It's a techie app. It's it's something that seems like it came right off of Soundcraft. So that's a big plus for the JBL because the quality and performance of what it's trying to do is built right into their app. That's a big, big plus. But at the same time, the drawback is when you spin this speaker around, you can either turn the EQ on and off, which is what's part of the app, or you can go through the actual main monitor, sub, and speech settings all straight off the back. Now, if you want to know what's going on with the actual EQ, you'd have to pull out your phone, turn on the app, and take a look at it that way. Now, over here, they're not going to give you that fancy chart flow EQ system that's going on here where you can really, really play around with it. If you're in a band, you'll probably find a lot of that really cool. But if you're DJing with it, you're going to want to be able to set it up for the room, and that's the end of the day. So you're not setting it up for the band, you're setting it up for the room. That's what you're going to get when you look into the Mackie Thump. Again, you got to be looking at the BTS, or else all you're buying is the same power without all this cool stuff going on in the back. Now, again, the big difference, here all we saw were some lights telling us what's going on. Here we actually get a full display. So I do have a full video where we cover all of this in detail, but I just wanted to make sure I covered all of that. This is all about, I can use it straight off the back of the speaker, or I can use it from my phone. One of the other big features is you can lock out the Bluetooth, so nobody else can actually accidentally log in. Some people, it's not so, anybody can get into it. You can lock it out. Big plus on this. You can also control the channels with this system. So that's a big plus. Everything's done on the phone. It's a lot easier when you look at your phone. So we've got the app on. Now I only have one speaker, so what you're seeing on the top of the screen here is I've opened the box just off to the side, and now that box is showing you what's on my phone. So right now with only one speaker paired off to it, I've got channel 1, channel 2, the ability to mute up on top, and I also have my Bluetooth volume level control all here. Those are the 3 channels that are built into the speaker. Now if I had a second speaker, I would also have channel 3 and 4 appear on that as well for the second speaker, all at the same time. At the end, I've got my main master volume, and of course just easier to control because I hit channel 2 up here. I get my channel 2 volume control, straightforward, and I get the ability to adjust the highs and lows right from here, make it the way I want. And I've got my subwoofer, my high pass filter, I think is what it's called. Anyways, but that's right down here, and if I'm not mistaken, that is for my subwoofer. Then I've got my main volume up here, and I can still hit the button for setup down below, and I can just pre-choose all these things right off the menu. Makes it really easy that way. I can connect to another, so there's auto link, so I can connect to a second speaker right from here, but I don't have a second speaker today, so we're not going to be doing that one. And yeah, so devices, so front LED, do I want all these little details? Do I want to turn a light on? All these things that we'd find on the back of a JBL is right here on the actual menu, which is kind of cool to have all of that located here. So that's what's going on. And like I said, it's not that I dislike the JBL app. It's just that I like this a little bit better. I like the user friendliness of the Mackie app for most people to use. And when are you going to use it? If you're using it for personal, I want it for home, I want it for my shop, that sort of thing, backyard parties, you're going to be using the Bluetooth connectivity, you're going to be using the volume, you're going to be using the setup. A lot of these things are going to be used on this machine through the app, which is really, really cool. If you're a DJ, yes, you're going to use this because you're going to set up the room and you're going to be where you normally are, behind your DJ table, setting up your equipment, running your music, and now you got to get on the floor and go and adjust the volume for the type of room you have. It could be for the fact that you're in a wider room than you normally are, or you're in a room that has a big open space to one side where the speaker is, and you need to balance that speaker off with the other one, which is propped up in the corner. There's like tons of great reasons. Plus, you want to check the sound level at the back of the room, and you'll be able to adjust that with this. Now, of course, you can do that, sound adjustment, tone controls, all of those features with the JBL as well, but that's why you're going to want the app. And again, this is all for just using something a lot easier and a little more straightforward if you don't want to get into getting into that graph chart and all that kind of cool stuff that they put onto here. go. So let's take a minute to actually talk about the app that runs the JBL Professional, the EON615. So we've got it up on the screen here, and what we're looking at is the ability to have up to 4 speakers connected. Now it's connectivity. Like I said, I haven't gotten it to play any music, so I'm just going with this connectivity. So here, what you're looking at is the ability to have 4 speakers. Right now I only have 1 on, but if you notice on the screen, there's also a 612 and there's also a 618. That's stuff we have in the showroom, and I have room for another speaker. So if I tap on the 615, that should bring me right into that app there. As soon as it gets there, there we go. And now we see the options we can do on the speaker. We can control the digital volume on the speaker itself. Then we also have our main, our monitor settings, our sub, and our speech all there on top of the volume. So where I'm sliding it right now, if you look at the very top, you'll see a dB reading, and it says 7363. Now that's reading real time off the microphone. So this way I can listen to the speaker and see how it's going. Now that works really good if you have a phone that goes higher than 78 dB for sensitivity on the microphone, because that for some particular reason seems to be the limit on my phone. You also have the ability to jump into the EQ and turning it off and on just by pressing the EQ plus button. You can adjust the speaker delay by adjusting how many feet away if you have speakers offset. Let's say going down the side of a room, or you're in an outdoor event and you've set up a speaker 100 feet away from the first speaker. Well, guess what? You can set the delay for that speaker, which is kind of cool. Again, this is really, if you're into live performances or you've got a huge, enormous setup and you need to set this up against some other equipment, that's pretty smart stuff to be able to do with this speaker. Again, they're giving you a lot of real professional setup systems when it comes to the app for this one. So here I've jumped into the screen where I can adjust the EQ settings. I can make it wider, I can tighten it, I can narrow it down, I can, increase, decrease that easy. It's nothing hard to play around with. You just, push it up and down. It's like cream and sugar in the coffee. Yes, there are some things that are better than others. And the more familiar you are with it, the easier it is to work. But that's what's going on here. If you want simplicity, that's what Mackie's putting into the Thump. So they want to give you everything pre-done and just give it to you in plain English. Here's the bass, here's the treble, here's the crossover for the subwoofer, that sort of thing. That's what's going on there. Here, they're expecting you to be a little bit smarter with the overall configuration and how this whole EQ works. Again, very awesome, very cool. Is it necessarily something that I want to play around with all the time? Not all the time. I like it so I can do a lot, but I like to just be able to boom, 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 push the buttons and make it work and make it happen. That's what's going on here. So again, if you like the technical side of things, this is technical, all part of the app. If you like the simplicity and having a lot of features built into it, this guy will do the job for you. So remember, you can interact with 4 speakers here. Through the app, you can interact with 2 speakers on the Mackie, but you're going to have the Bluetooth capability of being able to play it with an uncompressed audio stream with incredible long range. So that's the differences. Again, if you're looking for a bulletproof speaker that other people have to use and you want to look really smart in making a good decision, this is the one to get. If you're looking for a speaker that is really interactive for a DJ application or for house parties and for you carting around, bringing to the shop, stuff like that, then you're probably going to be looking at the Mackie. So let's talk a little bit about power. Now, JBL says now they've added the in brackets 1,000 watts. They were at 500 watts and they still are RMS 500 watts. And here they go and talk about power and they only say 1,300 watts. How much power does it have? It's 1,300 watts. We leave it at that. It generates a ton of power, and if you're DJing with either one of these into groups up to 150, it's going to depend on the music. You can do that size, no problem. If you're a wedding DJ, that'll work. Depending on how much bass you want to add to it, depends on, you know, are you going to drop some subwoofers underneath? If you plan on, you know, occasionally pushing it a little bit more than that, then you definitely want to look at getting subs. It's easy, just match them up with their subs. They know JBL, put the EON JBL sub underneath it, the 18-inch. It's going to do a great job for this guy. Again, here, put the Mackie sub underneath it. They were designed to go together. That's how these companies work. They like to promote their own products, so they engineer them to work really well with each other. Anyways, so yes, Mackie sub under the Mackie speaker would be a good idea, and a JBL sub under the JBL. They're both large boxes in their own class. Price point, a couple $100 more for the JBL maybe, but the Mackie's always a good price. It's price competitive with Alto and some of the other companies that are at that level with their product. So I hope the sound testing is going well for you. Again, it's not a choice of this is better than that. They're both different. Price opportunity right now at $499. This is a steal of a deal at $499. So there you go. Well, I hope this video worked out for you. Remember, we've got links down below. We've put some small details on there, but we've also linked to the other video that has a full detail of this speaker. And we've also added our links to Amazon in the US and in Canada down below. So these products are available, they'll be there. You're lucky enough that you can shop through us. You can always go to expertisland.com. That's our site. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If I can get a chance to help out and let you know what's going on, I certainly will do that. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye for now.